Episode 14. Dude, how crazy does it feel that we've been doing this for over 3 months now? Episode 14. That's 14 fucking weeks.
Yeah, at this point, it feels normal. It just feels like a part of the routine.
I
like
love it.
the weekly routine. Like,
Welcome back.
Yeah. Up a creek with two paddles.
Up a creek with two paddles. No guest today.
I'm Blake.
I'm Austin. It's been a couple episodes since we did that. We wanted to get outside today. It is like literally probably the most beautiful day of the year today, but
It's nice. Just a little warm today.
Time constraint. It's warm, but it's not hot.
No, it's not hot.
Time constraints kind of kept us from trying to get outside, but
Fall is the most bittersweet time of year.
why do you say that?
Because, like, you know, you're going through the dog days of summer, right? Like, it's just like, damn, it's hot as fuck. It's just hot as shit. Like, I'm ready for some cooler weather. But at the same time, all the life that summer brings, right? Like, there's something about it. And you know when winter comes, you're letting go of all that life. For a while, it's just going to be dormant. Like, there's not going to be nearly as much life going on.
Yeah.
It's just... But I don't know. Maybe that's just from my perspective. Like, maybe if you're... I don't know.
I get that. I mean, I love
what I'm
fall,
saying?
but I think what you just said is probably why I like spring a little bit more. Because you get just as good of weather. It feels just as nice outside, but instead of going into the deadness and the dormancy, you're going into the life.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's the coming back out of the dormancy. Like, that's why I love spring.
Right.
Spring's
No, I still
probably my
lean. I still
favorite.
lean towards October, man. That's my favorite month of the year.
October's so nice.
October's my favorite month, I think.
I was going to mention this off air, but fuck it. We're recording. We should dress up for Halloween.
Sure, I like that idea. That's a good
Halloween's
idea.
on a Tuesday, so should we dress up for the episode that drops 2 days after, or the episode that drops 5 days before?
Okay, we have to find a party to go to, so this isn't lame as fuck. Okay, we have to be going to a Halloween party or something.
Shh, they don't have to know what we do after we dress up.
Dude. Okay, so I wanted to dress Jackson up as an alien, but let me tell
That'd
you,
be awesome.
there's no baby alien costumes. This is
Make
a
one.
problem. I know, like,
Go get a green onesie.
yeah.
Make one.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah,
Oh, dude, all you need is a green onesie with a hood, and just put black eyeballs on the hood, just like little almond-shaped eyeballs on the hood. Have him wear his hood. Boom, you got a baby alien.
Who could I be? Who are you thinking about dressing up as?
I was joking with my mom about it, and she told me I should be a Teletubby. And I was like, dude, that would be so funny.
This is terrible to admit,
would
but
be
all the
so
people
funny.
that I'm close with at PC know this. Is so when you're out, I was in a fraternity, and your first year as a pledge,
Right.
the older guys in our fraternity got to assign you a
Halloween costume.
Halloween costume. And I was a Teletubby.
Dude, why would you have any shame in that? That's awesome.
Because I was built like a Teletubby, and I didn't want and I didn't really want to be a Teletubby. You know what I mean? It's just like a fucking lame ass costume, bro.
I don't know. I
Teletubby.
disagree. I would love to be a Teletubby. My mom said that, and I was like, that'd be so funny.
No,
That is hilarious.
Okay, so you can dress. I'm not dressing up as a Teletubby since I've already done it. I just think that's fair.
Yeah. Well, it needs to be something over the top enough so that it comes through in video with us just sitting here. Like,
Can I be an octopus? No.
if you can give yourself 8 arms,
That's what I'm saying. Like, costumes are so like generic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's some easy things. You know, pirate. That's obviously like a big one. A pirate. You know.
So, for instance, pirate, unless you had a big hat on, and like I could probably put my hair in like braids or something and kind of look piratey. But like, if all you got is a fluffy shirt and a scarf, like that's not going to come through in video that well with us just sitting here talking. So I kind of want it to be something that will look intentionally like we're in costume.
We're in costume, right?
But I don't know. I could make something from scratch. I like, just do a little cosplay type of thing.
I should have been a cowboy. I could be a cowboy.
Be a cowboy.
That'd be an easy one,
That's the lamest.
Yeah, it's
the most generic.
Exactly. Like same thing as a pirate. Like it's almost like the same sort of thing.
But no, it makes me think of like when Rogan and Duncan Trussell always dress up for their episodes.
Dude, they spend a lot of money on their costumes.
Oh, they go hard.
Yeah, they go really hard. They really do. Those costumes are fucking awesome. I love how they do that.
Yeah.
Imagine how much those furry suits cost, dude.
They were like legit like
Those were
mascot costumes.
They're very well
Yeah.
made. Yeah. That's crazy.
But no, we wouldn't go that. But dude, like, I don't know, Teletubby would be fucking hilarious. I'd have to get like the only one I could see I gotta go as the purple one. Who was that? There's like Poe. What were their names?
They assigned me one of them. I think I was the red one. I think I was the red one.
What if you dress as the baby that's the sun and I'm a Teletubby?
Doesn't he have like no shirt on? He's just in a diaper and a hat.
No, it's just the baby's face like overlaid into the yellow sun, and then he's got like the spikes around him to make it look like the sun.
I can't remember that. I
don't know how you do that as a costume.
No, I don't want to do that.
No, but oh man, we should think of something. Well, like that'll be hilarious. We'll move on from that because that's boring.
Yeah.
Podcast. That's off air discussions.
Well, you said you had a talking point today. What was your
My talking, like, I tried my best to come up with. Are you just trying to shame me?
No.
I tried my best to come up with something to talk about. And the only thing I wrote down was, weather's nice today.
Oh, Jesus.
So, dude, I don't know what's worse. Talking about the weather or asking you what your favorite color was.
Oh my, yeah, no, that one's. What's your favorite color? So bad?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. My brain's been in other places over the past couple weeks.
I will. I have a minor talking point just from. I think it was episode 11. That's the last one. It was was it Calm Before the Storm where I was telling you
that was 12.
When I was telling you my favorite part of the day. My favorite part of the day, like break from work at lunch, and I was talking about my government building.
That was 12.
I was listening to that, and I was like, I shouldn't have to explain this, but I kind of feel like I should. It's like, I'm thankful for my job. Like, I didn't want to come off as like not being like thankful that I get to work. And honestly, sometimes like a job is what you make it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can be a waiter and literally meet someone that like changes your life. You know what I mean? Like, you know, does that make sense? Like,
absolutely.
But what you have to do is you have to go into every table being like, okay, this is the most important table. I'm going to take care of that. You know what I mean? Like, it takes that repetitive discipline.
Yeah.
But and that applies to the same way to my job, right? Like, I'm in this opportunity where I am literally working for the state government, and my job is that I get to manage people's use of hazardous waste. I basically get to make sure these big companies that are making a lot of money using hazardous products don't really fuck over all of the public good. Right, and they don't negatively impact health, human health directly.
It's important.
They don't negatively impact our soil and groundwater directly and our surface water. And we're making sure that our state is good for the next, 5 generations. And just like being conscious of that. And I have to take that seriously.
Right.
And realize that I actually am in a position to do good.
Yeah, for sure.
And not just, because I was kind of thinking like we were saying like the escape's everything, right?
Well,
but the real work is so important, and people you have to shovel some shit.
Yeah,
and people. I feel like in the United States, we've kind of gotten away from that, like wanting to do that.
Yeah,
like because we want to be,
100%.
Doing things that are fun. Right? Like that's so important. What's the most important thing, man? Your happiness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine specifically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mine specifically.
Exactly. That's everybody's perspective. Yeah. So if you get away from that idea that you don't have to help shovel the shit and that there's not real work to be done to make sure this thing keeps going, you can get lost.
Well, with your job specifically, like you're saying, it's a very important job and you have a lot of opportunity to do good in the world. But also, like, it's just human nature to get lost in the day-to-day tedious tasks. But it's so important.
Hard, right?
It's so important for you to do what you just did and take a step back and be like, listen, I know, like, I might not be the most excited to wake up and come to work every day doing this job. But at the end of the day, I know the benefits of what I'm doing are far more, like, outreaching than just my personal life. Like, you're contributing to a bigger thing.
Right.
Even as hard as it is to go in and stare at a computer for 8 hours a day,
Yeah.
you still like, yeah, you got to take time to step back and evaluate. Like, well, you know, it's tedious work, but it is in a way fulfilling because you do know that you're doing good.
Right.
And I don't think it sounded like you were complaining about your job. It just came off as you were complaining about the work environment.
Right, sure.
Like
sure.
literally the environment, not like coworkers, like specifically the environment that you work in.
Right.
Because, I mean, dude, like big office buildings like that are so rarely designed to spark creativity. They're almost like, they're so boring.
They're so
and,
square.
Yeah.
But I passed by some offices that I'm like, damn, you got your office set up kind of dope as hell. Like, I wouldn't mind working in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got like a standing desk. They got like a beanbag. They got a rug. They got a little coffee table.
Dude, in
but
college,
my office isn't that big.
Yeah.
I'm not one of the big houses that's got like
Right.
an office twice the size of mine.
Now, in college, you'd go to like some professors, or they might be like the president of a school. Like, they might just be your professor, but they're also like high up in on the whatever college that is, like whatever department. And you'll go in their office like, Jesus Christ, dude.
You get to work
God,
here?
this office is nice, man.
Yeah. Yeah, rich get richer. I mean, like, that's funny. But yeah, no, you can't lose. Yeah, I lost track. I can lose track. It's easy to lose track of the bigger picture when you're.
It's so easy.
You get lost in that daily monotony of I got to do this shit again. Like I could be doing whatever I wanted to do. You know what I mean? But it's like, damn, think about what you get to do and make the most of it. Right?
Yeah, for sure. And if 0% of your job is fulfilling, find another fucking job.
And when you do that, you create value.
Yeah. And I
just like music, like it's so tedious, like you were saying. You're in the weeds, you know what I mean? Like
it can be.
You know, you're especially when you're overlaying so much stuff and you're taking time recording each individual instrument separately and then putting it over top. There's a lot of work involved there.
Right.
Get the right take of each different component and put it together. It's a lot, but you're creating value, and that's a little bit of shoveling the shit because that music can inspire people to get working.
Yeah, I mean,
I
see where you're coming from, but for me, like every single until it gets down to the really just extremely tedious mixing and mastering. Like, let me make sure my compressor's not like fucking pounding the bass at this one part, and you're losing all the like really really tedious shit after the song's fully completed and composed. And then you're just like mixing to try and get a good mix and mastering. Like that gets to the point where it's not fun. But every other piece of the puzzle you mentioned is so much fun. Recording is so much fun. Playing the guitar is so much. Like every part of it is so much fun. It's truly like just the finishing of the album that becomes less fun. But then what brings me back, like what's fulfilling for me when it gets to that part of finishing an album is the other sides of art. Like now I get to start scheming up album titles. I get to start thinking about album art. I get to start thinking about how to promote it. And like that brings me right back to the fun of it. Promotion can be super tedious. It can just be annoying to try and promote. And then like, yeah, mixing and mastering can get a little bit boring, but every other part of that process I'm in love with.
So I'm trying to like, when you're recording yourself playing the guitar, like, do you have other aspects of the song that you've already played, like maybe the piano and
Most of the time.
maybe the drums, like playing with you as you're doing it? You're not like soloing the guitar and then soloing the trumpet and then soloing the drums.
No, like, so I'll have it running through my headphones and be playing with it, which usually that goes pretty smoothly. But recently I had a song that I've just got so many fucking tracks layered in that song that it started to have a delay. To where when it records in the computer, there was like a fucking 2 millisecond delay. To where like every time I recorded a new take, I had to go in and shift the track like fucking the tiniest little bit to the left towards the start of the song so it would line up right. And that is fucking annoying. But that's just because that track, that song had like 30 different tracks layered into it. So it was just bogging down the processing power of my computer. That's the only reason that happened.
So what do you usually start with, the guitar?
Usually piano, just because if I'm sitting right here, anybody watching the video, my piano is like right here. So I'll start and just like
play a melody on the piano.
Yeah, I'll fuck around and find like a chord progression, and then like sometimes it'll start with drums, but that's a little more rare. It depends on what I'm wanting to make too. Like if I make like say if it's more hip hoppy and more upbeat, sometimes it helps to start with drums because you get the beat going. You can feel the beat. But usually I start with chords on the piano just to get like a feeling, and then I'll add drums to it. I don't know. There's no like set method. It really just depends on how you're feeling. Sometimes I'll start with guitar if I'm like, you know, a couple times you've come over and I'll be like, dude, I'm fucking with this little chord progression on the guitar, and I like it, and I'll record that first and then add in everything with it. But
Yeah, if I was gay for somebody, I'd probably be gay for somebody that could play the piano. Because like it's so
I need to get back practice because I like
it's so beautiful. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like, you know, fly fishing is supposed to be beautiful. It's not. Like the piano, the way it's engineered and crafted, and it's so fundamental in the way that it's
fundamental
somehow,
is the best way to describe it.
it's like, man, and you see people just making that thing sing so effortlessly with it's and you can, I don't know, there's something just so romantic about it.
Yeah, I love the piano, and I want to get back to like really playing the piano. Like I'm like, you know, the jack of all trades, master of none. That's me with instruments. Like I can play everything, but I'm not like
Right.
I'm not even nearly close I wouldn't even consider myself good at any of the instruments I play. I can play them well enough to make them fit in a track that I want to sound a certain way. But like I used to, like in college, you know, I played piano and I did like piano lessons because I got my associates in music. And like I was playing like fucking like Claire de Lune. Like I could play almost all through that. Like there was never a song put in front of me that I couldn't handle if I had enough time to practice it. And I want to get back to that ability because I've lost that. I never practice like that anymore.
Yeah, that's a skill that I've always been super jealous of is the piano and the guitar too. But more, if I had to pick between the guitar and the piano to learn first, I would
Yeah.
definitely pick the piano.
The reason everybody suggests starting with the piano is because a piano literally has music theory laid out in front of you. If you are willing to put the time in to learn music theory through a keyboard, I mean, a keyboard literally, like with the white keys and the black keys, it's music theory in front of your eyes. Like if you really take the time to connect the dots. And that way, if you really start to learn piano and you get a grasp on music theory, you can then go apply that to any other instrument, as long as you just learn the fundamentals of that instrument. So that's why almost everybody suggests like start with piano. If you want to take up any instrument, if you want to learn music, start with piano, because piano will teach you anything. And then again, in modern day, where you can track any sound to a piano with MIDI, like if you learn how to play the piano, you can play any instrument. You just got to turn on the trumpet sound and play it with your piano, or turn on the guitar sound and play it with the, like you can play anything.
Right, like a keyboard.
Right. But there's something about real instruments that I'm addicted to. I always try my best to play anything I can on an actual instrument in my songs, because it's like it sounds so much more natural. Like you can tell, and there's a place for it. I'm not saying it's bad, it's better or worse. Like electronic music, there's a place for it, and if that's the vibe you're going for, that's awesome. But like for me personally, the feeling I love the like natural sounding of just playing an actual instrument.
Dude, you know what you could do? Like if you wanted to start doing your music like in front of people, you could like bring a guitar and a piano or whatever instrument you want. Like maybe you brought guitar, whatever instruments you want, and then on different songs, if you were doing it solo to start out, you could pick what instrument you wanted per the song.
The only reason I'm not putting any thought into live performances is because I can't fucking sing. Like,
dude, you would learn.
Well, yeah, I need to practice, but that's just like I can. If I do 20 takes, I can get one where I'm on key, and then usually if I'm even on the takes that are pretty much right on pitch, I still use a little bit of pitch correction and like some tweaks and pitches. I can't sing, dude. Like if you heard me trying to sing my songs live, it would sound like dog shit. Absolute dog shit.
God, that's one of those things that you wouldn't think is so technical, because the people that are good at it make it look so natural and instinctual. It's
Singing is so hard,
but like
dude.
that is some of the most, they fine tune that skill so they can get it right. You know, it's
and some
crazy.
people just are born with perfect pitch, and I'm not trying to dismiss.
Some people can't. Some people have no they can't even distinguish different pitches at all.
Tone deaf. That's a legitimate thing.
But like it's a spectrum. Like I feel like I'm pretty good at hearing sounds and differences in tones and stuff, but you're way higher than me on that skill, and maybe someone else is just like not quite as good as me. But You know what I'm saying? It's just so crazy.
I've always had like a little bit of a natural inclination to it, but I've had to really work to actually like. For me, it's the technical side,
dude. And you know what is crazy about Rick Rubin?
Yeah,
like
of course.
He imagine he is able to trust his taste so much.
Yeah.
Is that because some people can't trust their taste at all because they have terrible. They don't know what sounds good. They don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he's just so able to just listen to his own. Like, this sounds good. I know this sounds good.
Right. Well,
Some
also
people,
a big thing about that is you can trust your taste all you want. Like, that's something I think every artist struggles with, is trusting their taste.
Mm-hmm.
But Rick Rubin has been validated. He knows his taste is correct because has hits on hits on hits. So like,
but does he actually produce?
I think he does a little production, but his biggest thing, he's a facilitator.
Right.
He gets people together. He gets the right energy in the room, and then he's able to make people feel comfortable and open up. And like, I think that's his biggest.
Wow.
Like, I
Can
think,
you imagine getting paid for that? That's crazy.
Honestly, I'm not sure
wild.
how much he actually makes beats. Like,
Right.
I don't think he makes beats at all. He's more of like, let me bring somebody in who already has a bunch of stuff put together and let me just like tweak it a little bit. I really don't know because he's not that open
but like
about
you're saying,
talking how much on the engineering side of it he is. He doesn't discuss that.
But I
that
think
often.
you're right. Like, he's in the room with the rapper, and he's in the room with the producer, and he's like getting, like you said, facilitating the conversation. He's getting those guys' juices flowing. Yeah. He gets the creative juice, like yeah, or hey, yeah, maybe we can like slow that beat up a little bit or something. You know what I mean? He's like doing that sort of thing. Maybe. Yeah. That's wild. That's cool.
He's one of the GOATs for sure. Him and I think crazy. I don't know if I'm saying this, there's going to be a lot of people that I'm not thinking of, but I mean Rick Rubin and fucking Pharrell, they are the sound of our growing up.
Really? See, I'm not super tuned in. Like,
dude, Pharrell,
who
you would not
think
believe
changed music in our age. Well, you got to say Drake, right? Like, he changed.
I don't think he's changed music.
Really?
No, I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to. I don't like hating on Drake because he's done a lot, but I wouldn't say he's changed music at all.
It's so local, like T.I. Like, think about what T.I. did for rap in Atlanta.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
Like, but also
it's so hard to pick those individuals.
Well, with the access to information we have nowadays, it's hard to attribute anything to one person because everything is built on somebody else.
Yeah,
everything is built on other influences, especially nowadays. Like Drake, I guarantee probably got a lot of influence from people like more R&B, because Drake's more of an R&B artist than a rapper. And that might be a hot take, but Drake, I don't consider Drake a rapper. I'm sorry.
He's got bars. He sings a lot though too.
His singing is a lot better than his rapping. That's just my opinion. I'm sorry if I'm divisive.
He's got some good songs, bro.
No, I'm not. Again, I'm not trying to hate on Drake. I'm just saying I don't, and I'm not trying to say he doesn't deserve where he's gotten.
I wonder how many times this conversation has been had on a podcast.
Oh, it's probably so many.
Literally about Drake.
Yeah, let's have two white guys discuss it.
Well, I mean, you make music, so you can definitely talk. About it.
But no, like I wonder how much Drake was influenced by like T-Pain style, like that more R&B, like kind of singing a lot about love and like sex and like I don't know, like it's hard to nail anything down to one person.
Even the foundations of that go far back. You know, everything is so rooted. And it's almost like we're retelling the same experiences through different tones.
Tell you what I'm excited about.
What's that?
I think there's going to be a resurgence of 90s style hip hop coming soon.
I believe that.
Ooh, I'm ready for it, dude. I'm ready for that just grimy, like almost punk rock rap. Ooh, I love that.
Like you can feel that
like Earl Sweatshirt
in the culture.
Who else? I don't want to speak out my ass. Earl Sweatshirt's the first name that comes to mind of that just like grungy 90s rap.
Right.
Hopefully Tyler will get back in it, man. Ooh.
You know where that comes from? I mean, it's that societal
sticking it to the man.
That societal unrest.
Yeah.
It's like you motherfuckers are trying to trap us and we kind of feel it. You know what I mean? So we're going to that's what gets people like that.
Dude, music's in a great place right now. Country is better than it may ever have been. Like I don't know, I don't want to like fucking
There's
obviously
some great country artists.
Hank Williams, Merle Haggard, fucking all the goats of like the 50s to 70s range. But dude, this new country is just raw and gritty, like Zach Bryan, fucking Tyler Childers, obviously Oliver Anthony. Like,
dude, Tyler Childers is an fucking G, homie.
Dude,
he's been in the game for
he's been doing it for a minute. But like but he's also may have been a big contributor as to why. But like just the raw gritty,
no, exactly, yeah.
The raw gritty independent music is like
that's an example.
Right
Tyler
now.
Childers changed the game. That's someone who changed the trajectory of that genre.
But he came up. There's Tyler Childers. There's Coulter Wall. There's who's some other independent gritty country artists like. Because Coulter Wall came up about the time, like Billy Strings. He's more bluegrass, but he's super independent, raw. Like,
dude, my friend
Sturgill
Tanner
Simpson.
Dude, Tanner, shout out, please. You just light him up in the comments. Tanner is so into these sorts of like grungy, like those country bands or whatever.
Yeah, like Sturgill Simpson was a little bit more production heavy. It wasn't quite as raw as what I'm talking about, but what he sings about is really raw and stupid. Like, it's just dude, Zach Bryan has some hits, man. And I'm not even like I've hated country music because when we were like growing up, when we were in high school, country music sucked. That's when country was going pop.
Yeah, right.
That's when you had like Florida Georgia Line, like just fucking awful country. Like I wouldn't even consider it country music compared to like real true country music.
Dude, you know what I've like Leon Bridges, he's done some like southern folky type of music. And what was that album? The one that has the 10 songs and it's rivers at the end of them.
I don't know the name of the album.
It's got Better Man.
Is it Coming Home?
Coming Home. It's probably
is that the name of the album? Because I know that's one. That's probably my favorite song.
Like
it's so good.
God, like that is man.
His voice is amazing.
But telling those old stories like that.
You know who I think changed a lot in pop music specifically? John Mayer.
Oh my God, he's for sure he's up there.
Because think about like back the like Room for Squares.
God, right?
Where oh my goodness, like so many good. Or like, dude, like Waiting on the World to Change.
Golly,
Say What You Need to Say. Like, dude, Continuum was a masterpiece of an album. You know, I didn't realize until recently that the guitar part on Small Worlds on Mac Miller is John Mayer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And John Mayer literally was like, I don't want any credit. He was like, don't even put me at all anywhere near this album.
I've heard him say that.
I want it to be your song. Oh, man.
Jeez.
I think.
Can you imagine?
Oh, man.
Can you imagine? Like, it's like two of the greatest musical minds meet right before one's about. You know what I mean?
I think Pharrell. If you want to nail it down to one person influencing music more than anybody else, I'd give it to Pharrell. Because Pharrell produced a lot of Snoop's hits in the 90s.
Really?
Dude, he goes back. I didn't even realize how old Pharrell was. Bro, he's been in the game for a minute. He's made so many hits. I hate to say it, or I shouldn't even say that I hate to say it, but Kanye was one of the main reasons we transitioned from R&B to hip-hop. Like, he was one of the first people pushing, like, actual hip-hop style, not rap, but, like, hip-hop style singing and, like, R&B, like, because there's I don't know if you've seen the clips of Jamie Foxx talking about when he came in to record Gold Digger. And I think Gold Digger might have been Kanye's, like, breakout hit. But he was, like nobody knew who Kanye was, and Jamie Foxx came in to record that part, and he was singing it super old-school R&B. And apparently Kanye was just like, no, don't do it like that. And he was literally told Jamie Foxx how to do it. And everybody in the studio was like, this ain't going to work, bro. And he changed the face of hip hop. Like, but again, you can't attribute that to just one person.
Yeah. You know who I wish was more focused on music nowadays?
Who?
Chance the Rapper.
You know who I wish Frank Ocean would put out a new solo album. It's been years. He does a lot of features. But like Pink and White and Blonde are two of my favorite albums ever. And I think Blind came out, like 2016, 2017? I could be completely off on that. But it's been years since Frank Ocean's put out a solo album. Ooh, I want to hear that. He is like the way he combines really hard hitting topics. And I don't. That sounds bad because a lot of his songs are just about sex and drugs, but he like mixes in like life with it, kind of like Mac Miller, where he talks a lot about sex and drugs and like money and all this superficial shit, but he almost puts it in a context of life in general, and it's just such a beautiful balance. And then the production on top of it, like and Frank Ocean's voice. Who's your favorite vocalist nowadays? We'll go by genre. Who's your favorite country singer? And I'm just talking vocals, not production, not sustenance of the song. So who's your favorite?
I have such a small perspective, but
hip hop vocals. Who's your favorite country vocals? And then who's your favorite like pop vocals?
God, okay.
For country, I think I'm putting Zach Bryan up there. Literally all the people we just mentioned. I'm not as well versed in country, so I know there's some people that I'm not thinking about.
See, when you say vocals, I think of like who do I love to sing along with.
Yeah, no, I just mean the sound of their voice.
Okay, I'm okay.
Like all the people, let me get back on the mic. All the people that I enjoy listening to the most, I can't even come close to sounding like them.
When you say from the perspective of that, like vocally, I would think
like Oliver Anthony's voice is fucking beautiful.
See, that's it is beautiful, but in a different way than I would think.
See, I like that.
Alicia Keys. I was thinking Alicia Keys, and I was thinking Leon Bridges.
Oh man, he's one of the goats. Like, he's got one of the best voices ever.
John Mayer's up there.
I like who's the lead singer for the Black Pumas? You know the song Colors? All my favorite colors.
Yeah, I do.
His vocals, like he can sing so fucking well, and he gets the like falsetto where he just kind of bounces up to it. He's not fully. Ooh, that's so like chilling almost. It's so good.
Who's the woman who sang for Alabama Shakes?
Brittany Howard. Ooh,
she got
dude,
some pipes.
She might be in my top 3 vocalists I've ever heard. Period.
So those are the ones that come to mind.
Dude.
I mean, dude, Alicia Keys is powerful.
There's so many people I'm forgetting. There's so many. Yeah. I really, really like Billie Eilish's voice. I really like her voice. I really like. Yeah, I was just had one on the tip of my tongue. Fuck, I don't know.
Dude, Justin Bieber can fucking sing. But yeah, dude, I don't know.
Oh, the girl from Wild Child. She's got one of my favorite voices I've ever heard. And I know that's probably more of an indie band. I don't know how many people have heard of Wild Child. If you haven't, go listen to Wild Child. Dude, it's like folk, Americana, singer-songwriter, indie. It is so good.
You know who probably gets slept on? The guy from Zac Brown Band. That motherfucker
He can sing really well. He's really good.
I mean, like,
I like a little grit to the voice, though. That's why I say Oliver Anthony. Like, I like when you get that gritty, like, there's almost like a graveliness to the voice. Like, that's what I'm attracted to. I don't want it to be all, like, John Mayer's great, but John Mayer's
his is smooth and velvety.
Very smooth and velvety. I like that graveliness. Like,
that's why I like Alicia Keys.
And we're only thinking about modern day. Like, what about,
that's only people that we can really... And it's so hard to say without seeing them in person and hearing them sing. Like,
dude.
So who is the best person vocally you've ever heard live?
I've not been to that many live shows.
Who's someone that sticks in your head live that you're like, damn, they could sing?
Jamie Johnson.
He
can do. That's somebody else I want to put out an album soon. I don't know. Maybe I should look up and see when his last album was released. But Jamie Johnson is his style would fit in so he would take off if he dropped an album. I mean, it's not like he needs the help. He's fucking huge, but Jamie Johnson's style of country would fit perfectly with the country culture that's going on right now. Ooh, it'd take off, man.
I'm trying to think of the best person that
I saw ZZ Top. That's like they don't really sing; they more just speak.
Who is that? I don't think
ZZ Top. Like oh God, I'm not gonna sing. Like, the first thing that comes up to mind is like cheap sunglasses. I can't even think of the ZZ Top's. I can't really think of any other hits.
Dude, I've said this before, but Wiz Khalifa came up there and used the mic and didn't have a like, you know how a lot of people, even singers, they'll have supplemental stuff going on.
Yeah.
Right? Like they'll be singing over their recorded.
Right.
Nah.
No lip syncing.
This man was performing.
Wiz is a beast.
That dude is a fucking professional. John Mayer was the same thing. He was performing. Like he was actually doing it.
I love that Where the Light Is concert. The whole concert's on YouTube, and it's just him and an acoustic guitar.
They're truly
for
performing.
an hour, like 2 hours.
They're performing.
Oh, it's so good.
Like there's something to that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I was super impressed by Wiz Khalifa. That's a motherfucking professional right there. I was super impressed with John Mayer. I was super impressed with Future. That motherfucker was a professional too.
See, I'm forgetting. I love those types of voices too. That deep, raspy.
Future was singing,
and
he
then
was
like also
he was
like
performing.
What is it about that deep black guy voice that sounds so good under a little bit of auto tune?
I know.
Oh, it's so like it hits. I don't know if it's just because we've been conditioned because they've been doing it for so long.
Yeah,
but something about that deep, gravelly, soulful black man's voice with a little touch of auto tune is chef's kiss. I mean, oh my God, I love that.
I would love to see Alicia Keys live.
That'd be really cool.
I would love to see her live.
I love Tyler the Creator's voice because he's open. He's like, dude, I can't sing. Like, I've just been trying. I've been working on it for a long time. I'm not a singer, but like his vocals, I love his vocals, and he's got such a deep voice that he can really sing and almost throw his voice to sound like not really like himself in certain ways. Like if you take the bass off his voice and he's singing a little bit higher pitch, sometimes it's hard to even tell it's Tyler. But like his voice is really good in my opinion.
I was trying to see. This is the fucking. I'm gonna tell the
Brent
story.
Faiyaz can sing really, really well.
I don't know who that is either.
He's a popular kind of like, not quite hip hop. I don't know. I haven't heard that many songs by him, but he's more like a hip hop R&B style. He's a really, really beautiful voice,
dude. So I was on the way to the Leon Bridges concert in Charlotte last year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We were on the way from the Columbia going up 77. We got halfway. My truck broke down.
The Silverado?
Colorado.
Is that the first time you had issues with it?
Mm-hmm.
Man. Had to be that day, didn't it?
We didn't get to go to the concert.
I saw Oliver Tree. I wouldn't necessarily say he's got the best voice ever, but he's got a distinct voice that I really like. And he's got like that style of like he doesn't really, I don't know, he's hard to put in a box as far as his vocals because like he sings, but he like, I don't know, it's like not very melodic, a lot of his songs, but a lot of his lyrics aren't that melodic. I don't know if people really get what I'm trying to say with that. I don't know how else to explain it.
I'm not too familiar.
But like
that's something like there's so many. There's no, like we've said this over and over again, especially with anything that you're putting out in the world. You should never think that like I'm not like this person.
No, yeah.
There's so much like there's unlimited opportunity to add to the conversation.
Yeah.
It's not like hey,
it's like there's no competition. There's no competition.
No, there is.
Well, the only competition is competition for like top of the Billboard charts. There's room nowadays where every like I don't have
competition for people's time. That's what it is.
Well, yes, but at the same time, I have time to listen to it all.
You do.
You know what I'm saying? Like same thing with podcasts.
But you don't, though.
It's like
that's not true though, because you don't.
Right.
You can say that but you don't.
But still, I follow like 10 or 15 different podcasts and I listen to all of them. Like there's no competition.
Sure.
There's room for all of us. Like in music and in media nowadays, there's room for everything. Mm-hmm. You might not get to it when it drops, but there's time to listen.
8 billion people.
Like
7.8 billion people. How many of those people have access to the internet? Is it like 3 billion? Is it like 4 billion? Like how many people?
That is a good question. I would say at least.
Seems like it should be a quick Google.
Should be. I'd say at least 3 billion have access to the internet. But then again, how open is their internet access?
Right.
Because
that's a great point.
A lot of people have restricted access to the internet.
Well, I'm gonna say have access to free
unrestricted internet.
Unrestricted internet. Okay. Let's just start with internet.
Pretty much all of Europe. Definitely a decent amount of Africa, like the population centers in Africa.
My gosh, this is going to blow your mind. There are 5.3 billion internet users in the world as of 2023, meaning over 65% of the world's population has access to the internet.
Wow.
4.9 billion people use the internet around the world. That's 62%. So it's around 60 to 65% roughly. About 5 billion people. And there's about 8 billion people on the planet.
But again, is that counting like Russia and China who don't have like full access?
Okay, well that's the next question.
I mean?
Let's
because those are two huge populations.
Let's add the word unrestricted.
Yeah, because I mean, if you just take out like 1.5 billion people from China, they don't have full access to the internet, or at least I'm assuming from what the information we get over here in the western side of the world. I don't think the Chinese have full access to the internet.
See, that's a harder question to answer.
Yeah, for sure. And also, like, how reliable are the censuses of these different countries?
Right.
That's a big question.
Oh, that's weird, yeah. How do they know? Because I'm sure there's obviously there's uncontacted people.
Right. And I'm sure there's discrepancies even in the U.S. census, which I'm pretty sure has to be one of the most thorough censuses in a country this large. This large.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously got to be some smaller European countries that have a really good track.
They got that shit
But they probably have like less population than one American state. So,
yeah.
So I think
most of them, yeah.
So I think in a global society with as many people as we have, we've got to have one of the most thorough censuses. Is it censuses?
Dude, you know who's the Middle East is growing like crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like China, I don't know if they're still growing. I don't know, but I know the Middle East is
the problem
popping
is
off
we can't
right
really,
now, dude.
I don't want to say too much, but we can't really trust all the stuff China tells us they're doing.
That's great. We have no fucking clue.
We have no clue, dude.
No clue.
We have no clue.
We know that a COVID virus came from a lab there.
Well, be careful.
Okay. That's crazy. But yeah, okay. We can move on from that. But yeah. They're buying a shit ton of land in the United States, and they also own the most successful social media company on the face of the planet.
We strive.
No one talks about that, dude.
Everybody talks about that.
That's so crazy, but everybody uses it.
Yeah.
Like, why is there not? Do you think that there should be like this is crazy? This is getting into like way crazy territory. But do you think that it would be responsible of us as American citizens to like not use that?
I have no clue.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Because obviously they're gathering information, and the biggest issue that I've heard is once you accept the terms and conditions of TikTok, not only do they have access to all the information on your phone, they have access to all the information on all of the devices that use the internet through your IP address. So by me posting our podcast clips on TikTok, they have access to every single piece of information on my computer.
Didn't they kind of already, though? I mean, the United
That's kind of what I'm saying is like, yes, they have access to all of this information and all of this data, but then again, like how valuable, like for me, they're not getting anything useful from my data.
Are they though?
You know,
I don't think it's necessarily the data. I think it's mostly the fact that they can view and monitor what we're thinking and feeling as a society. And if they can,
I think the biggest issue is eavesdropping on powerful people, CEOs of companies, you know, that have TikTok.
That is a part of it. But dude,
I think that's a big part of it.
But dude, can you realize how hard it is to control this many people?
Yeah.
What do you do that with? You do that with this interconnected backlog of people's thoughts.
But my point is
they can synthesize an overall feeling, an overall perspective of a society.
We assume,
dude. Come on, man.
But again, I'm just saying we assume. But then again, like I don't think TikTok. That's like saying American politics represents the will of the people, and that's just a fucking lie. Most of the shit getting posted as content on TikTok, I wouldn't say represents the majority of Americans' ideologies. It's fucking people dancing and it's stupid videos about my dog.
No, it's not. It's changed. It's different. It's not. It's not as simple as that anymore. People are on this social media talking about real shit that really affects people's lives. So for them to for you to like you can't just dismiss that.
I'm not
because
dismissing it. I just choose to be more optimistic about it.
I'm not being pessimistic or optimistic.
Yeah.
I was asking a question.
Right.
I asked, do you think that we should be, conscious
More weary of it? I mean,
conscious of
obviously we should be.
Yeah, of course we
Obviously
should.
we should be.
Right? Like of course we should.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's weird. And I don't know what's going to happen.
But the only reason it scares us so much is because it's not our country. We've had malicious intent through social media for a decade now, through our own companies in America.
Right, and that's what scares
me.
me.
The only reason it's scary is because it's China now, and we're worried about China.
Think about what exactly. That's a great point. Is like think about what the United States government is capable of doing to us with that tool, and it just makes me. China doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like that. Now what can they do? I don't. It worries me. That's all I'm saying. Is it worries me. And I don't think we fully understand the ramifications of our actions right now.
I agree with you.
How could we? How could we possibly? We can't.
I agree with you.
So it's like, man, this path that we're going down, and maybe it's just a path towards universal communication. It could be that too.
That's I would imagine the most optimistic view to look at.
Right.
At it. But it sucks because people have transformed their lives through TikTok. Like there's so many.
Yeah.
TikTok is the number one platform for exposure.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's wild.
It's such a valuable tool that it's hard to separate what may be malicious about it and how useful it is.
Right. Because at the end of the day, it's a very effective product.
Right.
And if you believe in free trade capitalism, regardless of what country it's from, you should be able to use that product, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it shouldn't be an argument that people shouldn't be using this globally because we have the opportunity to get the perspective of people from all around the world, right? Like, so that's great. That is great, and
it's the access they gain through accepting those terms and conditions. Like, that is the issue. It's not social media is fine, but it's how much information they have access to through the wicked terms and conditions that TikTok comes with. And I've said it before on an episode, I'll say it again. In today's age, we have to people really got to start reading terms and conditions. Like it's been a meme for fucking 15 years now that nobody reads that shit. Nobody ever just accept. It's like, of course I'm going to accept it because I can't use your product if I don't accept it.
Exactly.
But we got to I think we're in an age where people really got to start
some,
reading
or is it literally one line?
Just it. You got to accept them all.
And that's why people don't read it because they know they want to use it. And they're like, okay, whatever. I need to use I need it. It's like using a car, right? Like you can't not buy gas for it.
But then again, if some people perhaps if some people did understand the ramifications of the terms and conditions they're signing, they just wouldn't use TikTok and Instagram would blow up or something. So there's that thing too. Like people probably just accept it without thinking about it, and then they probably got billions of people signed up for TikTok before any of the shit really started hitting the news about how much information they're gathering from you.
Most people's internet use is social media.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely,
it's crazy. Like I wonder what percentage of the 5 billion people that are using the internet. I wonder what percentage is only on social media.
Only?
Yeah, like just only on social media. That's their use of the internet. That just can't be right.
Yeah, everybody's Googling something.
Yeah,
nobody's just Googling only on social media.
YouTube.
Yeah. It's
wild.
So hard to see YouTube as social media because it's so much deeper than any other social media platform. But it is social media. It's user-generated content on a public platform. It's social media. But with the format of YouTube, you can go into so much more depth than little 90-second clips. And like you can truly discuss a topic or make like a 45-minute video about some random shit like that you can sit down and actually learn something from that's more useful than any other like little clips on social media, in my opinion. So it's hard to see YouTube as social media, but I mean, it is. Social media, or YouTube's probably one of the oldest social media platforms on the internet. I think YouTube popped up before any of the social medias we consider to be like true social media.
God.
Because YouTube was the first place you could publicly post videos on the internet. Before that, all videos were in like forums or like I don't even know. Was Vimeo a thing before YouTube? I don't know.
Dude, what I wouldn't give to just flash forward like 40 years for like just get like maybe I get an hour just to like
To see.
just to like be in that motherfucker and like
God.
just see
I don't know
like
if I
what's
want
going.
that.
I want it. I would give a left nut to do that, dude.
But then it's gonna ruin.
I would fucking give a left nut because
But then you got to come back and live the rest of your life knowing what you're headed for. I'd rather just not know. I'd rather just not know, man.
What if you just go? Like, what if there's nothing? What if you go? What if you go and we got hit by like a fucking meteor,
Dude,
and you
it's
just like pop in, and you just start
It's
catching
just like
on
a
fire.
nuclear winter. Dude. It's wild.
Charleston's underwater.
Yeah, I'd rather not know.
Okay, you remember when you and Quinn were talking about if all the ice melted,
Yeah.
the water would
really
come
have to
up.
pee.
The water would come up approximately 216 to 20 feet.
Jesus.
Just to put that in perspective, a lot of Columbia would be under ocean.
That's wild.
So anything under 200 sea level. Yeah,
gotta
pee.
One second. Sorry.
No, I can keep talking. Man, isn't that so crazy? Can you imagine? All of Florida would be underwater. Half of Louisiana, like most of Louisiana. I mean, New York underwater, Boston underwater. Yeah.
Major city on the coast will be underwater.
Oh my Jesus Christ. You know what's crazy? This has already happened. It's already happened. Man, it's happened before and it's probably going to happen again. Yep. And they're going to be talking about the lost city of New York. Man, you should have seen it. It was a spectacle. Can you imagine, dude? It sounds
So many.
It sounds like I'm talking like people right now are being like, this is ridiculous. This is never. You know what I mean? New York will always be there. Nope, it won't be.
I'm back. Sorry, Blake had to fill a couple
Oh,
seconds.
my God.
But no, like, it's wild to think. I would say 95% of the world's major population centers would be covered. Like, think about
Jesus.
LA, San Francisco. Every major coastal city in California would be underwater. New York, Boston, like you said, fucking Charleston. Charleston's a huge harbor, fully underwater. Savannah, all of Florida, Hong Kong, Singapore. Fucking, I don't know. Tokyo's kind of like in the mountains. Isn't it? But like,
so the sea level has. Let's get this right. The sea level has been like that before.
Yeah.
There have been no glaciers before.
right.
Okay, people don't believe that. Like the water used to be 200 feet higher. It used to be, and it's like Jesus.
It also used to be 200 feet lower.
Yeah.
And how many of the population centers of that time are under the ocean right
and that's
now?
that's exactly what I said. I said it's happened before.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
already happened once. We're talking about the lost city of Atlantis like it wasn't a thing. Do you realize from 10,000 years ago when there were millions of people on Earth,
Yeah.
the sea level has rose 200 feet?
Yeah. It's crazy. Like there's so much lost information. So much lost
What
information.
the fuck, man? It wasn't just the city of Atlantis. It was like the whole fucking world.
Yeah. I mean, the Great Flood.
Jesus.
It's wild. It is
Yeah, it just
wild.
rained. It was just in one place. No, yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy. But yeah, like not only like London underwater. Fucking every single major coastal city, which is most major cities, are on the coast in one way or another.
Right.
Most major cities.
And
So-
we think of it as this thing that like slowly ticks away, but that's not how it works. You know what I mean? It's just
That's
not.
like, so they built the new battery in Charleston. On the sign, it says, like, we built it to maintain the heritage of it, but we also built it for rising sea levels.
It's a seawall.
Yeah. it's wild.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to, I mean,
I mean, you see, they got like a few inches of rain, and we were walking through puddles that were a foot deep.
yeah, but that's just, I mean, that's an old ass city.
There's literally places in Charleston that are below sea level. Literally below sea
Yeah.
level. You like? Did you know that Death Valley is like 150
Yeah.
feet below sea level?
It's crazy.
It's just in a huge valley, like that. You know what I mean? That is dry as fuck. It's crazy.
Man.
The Earth is fucking insane.
It's a beautiful,
awesome.
It's a beautiful, wild,
God,
precarious place.
fucking amazing. It astounds me. God, what? But okay, But we were saying if you could go in time 40 years, and like we're going back into the past. That's where if I could have gone, I would have gone like pre-Ice Age. Like if I could go back to one period of time right now,
Pre-cataclysm.
I would go back, but not just pre-cataclysm, pre-Ice Age,
I wanna
because the
know-
Ice Age shifts you into a because it kills a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right. It's not as much life. I would want to go to like before pre-Ice Age to when the climate was about what it is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like see what they fucking had
Dude.
going on.
I want to know who built the pyramids.
Like 200,000 years ago.
Yeah.
When did the last Ice Age start?
Like 26,000 years. I
No,
think
no,
it was
no,
an
that's
ice
not
age
right.
for
It was-
like
it was-
10,000 years.
That was like 100,000 years.
Well, there's minor ice ages and major ice ages.
Right.
Because like right now we're technically in an ice age. Because we got polar ice caps. So we're technically in an ice age right now.
Huh. It started about 100,000 years ago. So yeah, I would want to go back to like 150, 200,000 years ago.
See, that's tough though, because that's a stretch. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I'd be curious.
There were humans here.
Oh, of course. I know that. I'm not denying
Yeah,
that.
there were humans
There were
on Earth.
humans here, and they had civilizations. They had started to develop agriculture at that point.
Who knows what?
We
yeah.
had probably already domesticated the dog by that point.
200,000 years?
Like,
Do you think?
yeah.
Because the modern understanding is that all. Oh yeah, we probably had already domesticated the dog. God, that's a good point.
So
We've domesticated wolves.
the true thing that we would want to know is what would technology look like at that day. That day and age.
Well, what had they built at that point? That's what I would want to go back.
Not only what did they build, how did they build it?
Right.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like the
Yeah.
technology that allowed them to build all these different structures and shit.
Right. Yeah, maybe that's too far. And maybe I should go back during the Ice Age because there.
Yeah.
I mean, on the equator, on the coast, it would have probably been pretty like 50.
I'd want to go.
50 to 70 degrees year round.
I'd want to go to the Amazon rainforest about 50,000 years ago.
on the. Oh my God.
Dude.
You know why I think that we find so many like beautiful places so high in elevation? They went to escape the fucking.
I'm sure
flood.
that has a lot to do with it. Yeah.
Like okay, now we're gonna build. Okay, think about
But then think as
what is the place in South America?
Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu.
So there's actually a story. They went up and built. And I could be wrong. I heard this a couple weeks ago. Machu Picchu was developed because they were trying to escape conquest. I'm not sure if it was the conquistadors. It was a lot longer before that, but I'm pretty sure they went up to high elevation to escape conquest. And you know, we just discovered Machu Picchu within the last like 50 years. I think it was even sooner than that. Yeah. I think Machu Picchu was discovered in the 70s. That should be an
It was
Google
probably
too.
from Google Images, satellite images.
Somebody, like a farmer, found a stair set in their backyard and hiked up it.
No way.
Yes.
That can't be real.
Yes. It was completely hidden away because they were trying to escape people who were trying to conquest them and take them over. So they hid the entrances to get into it. Apparently, this just farmer in fucking Peru found a staircase, hiked halfway up it, thought he saw something cool, came back down, told like the village, and then like a decade later, it like got out and people actually went all the way up to the top and finally discovered the true like.
That's one of those like human things. Like, have you been to Machu Picchu? You know what I mean? Like, that's something like
Yeah.
travelers. Like, that's one of the big ones. Like going there. Golly, but there's so many of those places on Earth that are tucked high in the mountains
yeah,
that are just like sacred places.
Hidden. It was discovered by Hiram Birmingham III in 1911. So I was off on that. But he wasn't even looking for Machu Picchu. He was looking for apparently a city called Vilcabamba.
So he was a person who was looking for.
But Machu Picchu was a hidden capital to which the Inca had escaped after Spanish conquistadors arrived in 1532. Yeah, that's why they went high up in the mountains.
Jesus.
Was to escape the Spanish conquest.
They're like, those motherfuckers aren't making it up here.
And then
God,
people
have
look at
mercy.
Machu Picchu as this ancient structure, and it wasn't.
It's not even
It's
old.
not even ancient at
Not
all.
even old.
Not at all. Like there's buildings in Europe older than Machu Picchu.
Not even old, yeah.
There's like the local pub in Europe is probably older than Machu Picchu, you know? But it's crazy. Like the history of the world is so rich.
God, it's so amazing.
And I just wish we had a deeper understanding of it. It's so vast.
It's so sad that
and
we've lost so
disconnected.
much. Oh, man. And we'll never get it back.
But that's part of the beauty of
We'll
life.
never know.
Is the curiosity and the wonder.
I really, really hope we get the answers when we die.
That's one thing I'm not optimistic about. I don't think we get anything when we die.
I really, really hope we get the answers to like the origins of us. You know what I mean? I
I don't
really
think we will.
What if it took you through? Like, what if that was the end and it just took you through, like, from the beginning to right all the way to the end? You
The
got to
problem
experience
is,
everything.
In my opinion, if you did get those answers and got that little field trip when you died,
Yeah, no, the best field trip of all time.
then it'd almost have to be a simulation. And then, like, the people who built the simulation are like, "Hey, you just escaped the simulation. Look what all else has happened." Like if it's
yeah.
just a natural occurrence as to why we're
Yeah.
here,
Seems
I
unlikely.
think it
doesn't
just fucking goes to black, dude.
Yeah, seems unlikely.
I don't think it's nothing.
I don't think it's anything.
I don't think it's anything. I think you're done.
I don't know about that.
I think it's the same feeling you had before you were born, which was none. I think you're just turned off. Dude.
What about incarnation, bro?
I mean, I'm not going to deny that,
Right.
but I haven't seen any good evidence for it. But then again, even if like past lives are real and you're reincarnated to you have no memory. Like you might have a really deep seated, like maybe if you were a pirate in your past life, and that's why you have certain dreams, like we discussed in that one episode. Like maybe there's remnants of past lives, but like if it's a past life that you have no recollection of, it might as well have just went to black.
That's a good point.
Because you wouldn't know any different. If you're just incarnated into a different body, you're just doing it all over again. You would have, like, you wouldn't know, like, oh shit, me and Blake talked about this in my last life on the podcast, and now I'm back as an ant or whatever. Like, so it might as well just go to black because you would have no clue. You wouldn't know either way.
Right. Yeah, I think I think it's more likely, instead of it being nothing, I think it's more likely that you go into an eternal hum, that eternal, like that.
But I don't think you would have any perception. I don't think you'd be conscious that you were in that.
There's no start and end to anything. There's nothing to perceive.
That's what I'm
except
saying.
Energy.
But if you have no conscious experience of being in the hum, then it just goes to black. It's just nothing. Because you're not going to consciously perceive, oh shit, I'm dead, I'm in the hum. Our energy is just going to be dissipated into the universe or reused by nature in the world, but we're not going to have any consciousness of that. We're not going to be able to perceive any of that.
Well, that's what you say. You don't know.
Nobody does. That's the whole point of this conversation.
Right.
We're just speculating.
Yeah.
Like I think most of the ideas, unless it's a legit heaven where you're still like have like a soul and you are conscious of the fact that you're in heaven.
Yeah, no Buddhist allowed.
Every other, I didn't say Christian heaven.
You know what I'm saying? Though?
But like
that's weird.
Every other, I don't know. Yeah, and then I feel like if there was a true afterlife,
that just seems weird.
There wouldn't be so many religions fighting about what it is. Like I just feel like we would live in more harmony if there was a true heaven.
What do you think about all the people that have died and they've like been resuscitated or came back to life?
It's all the same story. So maybe that's just how your conscious fades away.
It's not all the same story.
It's 99% the same story.
They're similar. But like that's
like a
interesting.
feeling of warmth and gratitude and maybe a bright light.
Dude, some people.
But maybe that's just your consciousness accepting its fate. That doesn't necessarily mean you're leading to an afterlife.
Jesus and shit like that. It's wild, dude. Can you imagine?
It's the same thing. So
that's imprinted. Say you're 3, right, and you had been in church, right? That's kind of imprinted on your consciousness a little bit.
I don't think there's a single account of someone who wasn't raised religious and been around a lot of religious stuff who saw Jesus.
And there's a lot of near-death experiences that are a lot more vague.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're just like you said, like that light and that
if you're
warmth and
living on North Sentinel Island right now and you had a near-death experience, you're not seeing Jesus.
You're right.
You get what I'm saying?
Well, he would send you to hell.
Like,
right?
No.
I think he would, because you didn't accept. If you had never heard of Jesus and you knew had never accepted.
That's my biggest flaw with Christianity. It's just like
But that's just how it is, buddy.
But it's like you can't choose where you were born. Like, I think it's absolutely ridiculous to think people are going to be punished because they grew up in a society that doesn't talk about Jesus. That's fucking retarded.
How dare you?
I'm sorry. It's the way I look at it. It's fucking stupid. That was like one of my first qualms with Christianity.
It's a biggie one, right?
Because I've always thought like, well, wait, what if I was born in like, I don't know, like Japan, and I was never raised to know who Jesus was, but I still had religion and thought I was doing the right thing and lived my life in a positive way.
Well, if you're in Japan, you have no excuse because you have the internet. I can maybe see if you're from North Sentinel Island and you were just killing frogs and bugs and shit.
But the fate of...
Can you imagine how terrible it would be if that person got sent straight to hell?
The thing is,
like, that's so terrible.
That sentiment has been around long before the internet.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know? So like,
yeah.
What if you're a peasant to a slave in medieval, or peasant to a king in medieval times, and you were learning like paganism, and that's all you ever knew? It's fucking stupid that an all-knowing, all-powerful being would punish you for something you had no control of.
Think about
I refuse to believe that's true.
Think about this. Christians before Martin Luther couldn't even read the Bible, right? They were just told what it was. And now, like...
Yeah, it was all Latin.
You know what I'm saying? I got to take a pee, too.
Well, hold on. Let's just close this out real quick. Because we're at an hour, and I need to finish up.
Dude, that's a weird one, man. It's a weird one. It's super weird, man.
I mean, if you're talking about people who were exposed to Christianity and Jesus, and then they denied him, that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm not putting any merit in any of that, but I think it's absolutely ridiculous to think an all-powerful, all-knowing being would punish you for something you had no control of.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's stupid.
Crazy.
Let's be honest. That's
really
stupid.
Weird. It's really weird.
It's flat out dumb.
But see, I think the story's more complicated.
It's completely illogical.
I think it's a little bit more complicated. I think there are truly benign and then evil forces at work. And there's something fundamental to that outside of it's weird, right? Like I don't know. It's just I don't think it's as simple as
I don't believe in strict.
It's just not that simple. I wish it was that simple as the Christian story, but I don't think it.
No, I like the idea of karma, and I don't think there's strict karma because to have strict karma, you have to have reincarnation. But because there's bad people who live healthy, happy lives, so I don't believe in true, fully strict karma. But I believe. And I'm saying I believe this, but it's not like I don't put any merit to it. It's just if I was to lean one way and have to say something, I just believe in a energy that contributes to the balance of evil and good. I think that's the most vague, simple way to describe it, and I don't think there's any reason to get more detailed than that.
Yeah, you play a role in that, and whatever whether it keeps going or not, if you know what force you're going for, right? Yeah. But it's not that simple either.
No, I know.
It's just not. Hey, we're not going to figure it out anytime soon.
That's what I like. There's plenty of bad people who live healthy, happy lives and die in an old age and get everything they want out of life. And there's plenty of good people that die young and die tragically. God. But if I was to ascribe to anything at all, I just think there's a balance of energy. And I think that's really all it is. I don't think there's any being making decisions unless it's a simulation. I don't think there's any, I think there's just the universal energy. And that's, do with that what you will. I don't think, that's super vague, but I think that's what it should be. I think we have such little, it needs to be vague. We can't get detailed about shit we have absolutely no clue about.
So much of the Bible is not really about the afterlife. And it's about life on Earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so weird because they reference it vaguely, the afterlife, but it's mostly about the Earth.
Think about the people...
things on the Earth and how people act on the Earth.
Think about the type of people Jesus surrounded himself by. He was never at the high council. Or he had a band of fucking renegades that were his disciples.
Yeah.
He hung out in whorehouses. He helped lepers. He
Right.
hung out with the worst people to
Right.
make change.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. I don't even know what point I'm trying to make with that, but yeah,
That's a good point.
It's been a fun discussion. It's been a very fun discussion.
It's because you want to keep talking about this sort of thing, but part of it feels like, man.
Well, we're never going to get answers.
Yeah, you never do. But I think that's why faith is so intoxicating.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
it gives you an answer. It gives you the answer to the big ones.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, it gives you, in my opinion, it gives you false hope. But I mean, I'm very arrogant to claim that it's false hope. Maybe it's
Right.
true hope. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's a healthy thing to give yourself over to some being you think is better that makes you strive to be a better person. That's a wonderful thing. I don't think anybody denies
Dude,
that.
do you what about the old people who like talk when they're dying? You know what I mean? Their consciousness is like halfway in, halfway out.
Yeah.
We all, if you've experienced someone, in your life that's dying and passing away, they kind of go in and out of reality and not reality. You know how there's that common experience of them talking to someone that's already passed on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they'll talk like, I don't know, like Phyllis, she died 10 years ago. Phyllis, Phyllis, hey, good to see you, Phyllis. Give me a hug. You know what I mean? It's like,
I don't know.
It's fucking weird.
Because it's hard to separate, is that a true experience or is that a result of chemicals being released into your brain to accept death?
God, who knows, man?
There's no way to. I think there's only 2 ways we're going to get answers to this, or 3 ways. There's 3 ways we get answers.
I think what you just said is very likely.
There's 3 ways we get real answers. Either heaven and God is real, and He tells us the answers. We're in a simulation, and for some reason, when we die, they just feel the need to tell us all the answers, which I don't even think that's a very likely scenario. Or it's aliens, and the aliens give us answers. I think that's the only 3 options where we truly get answers about our history.
Dude, the aliens could know.
They might.
They really do.
Might.
Let's just assume that they've been around for far longer than us because of their intelligence and their being advanced and ability to get here.
We have to assume at least a few thousand years longer. I'm saying at least.
Let's talk about the possibility that they've had billions of years longer to advance their civilization, right? Billions of years.
There's a potential that they saw our solar system.
Humans have came from basically slinging shit to here in about 2 million years. So if you have billions of billions of years to operate in the cosmic space, and let's say they were aware of us, and let's say that they witnessed what happened to our Earth 12,000 years ago, and even farther back.
What if they
could truly give us insight into what has happened on this planet? That is amazing.
What if they witnessed a very ancient species destroy Mars and move to Earth?
Wow, that's incredible. You know what's interesting though? That I heard this. Apparently, there's multiple instances of people being warned that this was going to happen. Like people on Earth knew.
Dude, that gives me chills. Like that.
People, there were a handful of people on Earth that knew it was going to happen.
Yeah,
and they survived, right? Because the humans lived on.
There's a lot of people making predictions, and a broken clock is right twice a day.
That's a good point.
You got to think about that as well.
But no, I think the argument is that there were the elites, the stargazers, the people who were in tune cosmically to what was going on. They knew it was going to happen, and who knows? Maybe they were warned by aliens. They could have been warned by aliens that it was going to happen.
I don't discount that at all. In fact, I lean.
That sounds
to believe
fucking insane to come out of my mouth, but it is a possibility.
Actually possible, and some would argue likely.
Given to what we've experienced, just what we know we've experienced as a human race at this point is like, it's wow. It is insane, and I really hope in our lifetime what if they can give us that insight?
I don't know, man. Part of me,
we need to end it right now.
Part of me thinks that, I just want to say, part of me thinks that the uncertainty and the wonder is what it's all about. Life wouldn't be the same if we had the answers.
No, we'd have so much more questions though. It's not like
That's
they
true
stop.
too. It's like the more you know, the more you need to know.
Because they're probably still trying to figure out their origins.
Yeah, who knows? They might not know
You
where
know
they
what I
came
mean?
from.
Yeah,
like
they
if
might
we
not.
develop space travel right now, that wouldn't give us answers to Göbekli Tepe
Right,
and
right,
the Cataclysm
exactly.
and any of that.
But the only hope we have is that they're ancient and they preserved themselves long enough to observe what happened to us.
Now, I'm
You
gonna
know what
give
I'm saying?
One last thing to think on. If we think about the traditional academic understanding of civilization, where it developed about 6,000 years ago in the Fertile Crescent, Mesopotamia. That's where we truly started developing civilization. Obviously, there were Native Americans who lived in civilizations. We don't really have a good understanding of how much agriculture they had developed at that point. But I'm saying just strictly based off traditional understandings, Mesopotamia was the cradle of civilization. That means in 6,000 years, we went from developing agriculture and irrigation to cell phones and space travel. 6,000 years.
That's not right.
But
Right. No, I totally get you. Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying based on the traditional understanding of our technological
Right.
development.
It seems ridiculous when you put it in that.
But then
right?
again, you can't say that all happened in 6,000 years because it took hundreds of thousands of years to get to
Get to that
society.
point.
But still,
Right.
from the time
No, I
we
totally
started
get what you're
living
saying.
in societies, it's been 6,000 years to
Right.
get from hunter-gatherer to cell phones and space travel.
Yeah. So to think that there could possibly be a civilization that's 1 billion years old.
Or even, that's why I'm saying even another 1,000 is unfathomable of
Eh,
development.
Yeah, but compared to
Dude, think about where the world was 1,000 years ago.
I know, but we're
In the 1000s?
we're still on Earth.
In the 1100s?
I know, but we're still on Earth.
I'm just saying, like, even 1,000 years of development is completely unfathomable. And technology develops exponentially because all new technology is built on the premises of old technology. So technology develops exponentially.
I got to pee so bad, dude.
Yeah, we'll close it out. That gave you something to think on. Fucking love you guys.
Another week in the books, bitches.
I hope this was. I really enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah, that was
I
fun.
hope it was a good one to listen to.
Peace, homies. Keep it real.
As usual, Blake clipping out the mic. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Love you guys.